Okay, gang, we got time for one more video today. I'm going to go over one of our newer products, model 1030. This stuff also applies to model 1230, 2030, and 2230. So the question that has come up often is, how can I set a limit and lock the thermostat so that users cannot exceed certain temperature limits or make temperature changes? So with this thermostat, you can do this. You can set a limit. Say you're the landlord of a property and you want to limit your tenant from setting the air conditioner all the way down to Alaska temperatures. You want to maybe limit them at 72 degrees. That would be the lowest temperature that they could choose. Or in the heating mode, maybe you want to limit the user from setting it up to 88 degrees in the middle of winter and running up the heating bill. You can set limits, and then you can lock the thermostat in a way that would prevent them from undoing the limit that you had set. So I'm going to discuss how to do that. I'm going to do it on this 1030, and it's very similar for the other models I described. So to do that, you're going to have to access the installer manual. These thermostats have two menus. Each menu is accessed by pressing the menu button, but the user menu is accessed by just pressing the menu once and releasing. That will get you into a user menu. That is not the menu we're looking for. The installer menu you can gain access to by pressing and holding the button until you see the screen change. And the first item that you're going to see in this menu is your display temperature set for Fahrenheit. You can obviously change that to Celsius if you want. But if you press the menu button again, it'll take you to the next item in the menu. This is our differential, compressor short cycle protection. Now this is our high limit for heat. This would be the highest you would want your user to be able to set the heat. So we can adjust this down. Say we want to limit our user to 75 degrees in the heat mode. That's the highest temperature we want them to be able to raise the heating. We can set that to 75. It's going to say heat, high, and then that's your limit. Press the menu button again, and this would be the lowest you could set your heating to. Typically, that's not an issue. We're more concerned with the high, but maybe you want to maintain a minimum temperature. You could also set that. Pressing the menu button again, it'll now get you to the cool low limit. And of course, the default is 45, extremely cold. We can raise this up. Say we want to limit the air conditioning use to nothing less than 72. So we can do that. Then we press the menu button again, and this would be our cool high limit. And of course, typically we're not too concerned about how high they can set the air conditioning, but if you wanted to change that, you could. Now, the next setting is what's important. This is our installer menu lock. Default will be no. You're going to want to change that to yes. Y for yes. That's going to give us a lock on the installer menu. Now when you press the menu button again, it's going to prompt you to create a 4-digit locking PIN code. So we're going to set this to 2. Then you press the menu button, the second digit is flashing. I'm going to set that to 3. Menu button again. I'll set the third digit to 4. Press the menu button again, and I'll set the fourth digit to 5. So now my lock code is 2345. Then when I press the menu button again, our last option is if you want to clear everything you just did. We're going to leave that on no. The other option would be yes, that would clear or literally undo everything that you just did. We're going to leave that on no. Back. Now we're back to operating. So we're in the heat mode. If we try to raise our heating up, we can only go to 75, and then it says lim, indicating that we've hit the limit. Same thing if we put it in the cooling mode. We won't be able to lower the cooling less than 72. That was the limit that we had set, and it will pop up lim when you hit that. Your user can no longer get into the installer menu to make those changes because you put the lock. If you press and hold that menu button to get into the installer menu, it's going to prompt you for that 4-digit code first, and you'll have to put that code in before you can get back into the menu and make any temperature limit changes. So this effectively locks out the user, and they will be stuck with those limits that you had put in, maybe as a landlord or a property manager, or for whatever reason you want to lock out your temperatures. This is how you do this. Now it's important. Don't forget your code. If you forget your code, you can't get back in. Contractors, call me. I'll try and help you out. We do not give out this information for your benefit. You don't want your tenant calling me up and saying, hey, I can't get into the installer menu. I know I need to get in there to change the limits. If I just give them out a way to get in there, it defeats the whole purpose of why this feature exists in the first place. So we're not giving out that information to just anybody. So don't forget your 4-digit code that you created. Again, contractors, call me, we can talk. But you'll find instructions for how to do this in the video description. You'll also find a phone number for tech support. My name's Tony. Thanks for watching.